Hello everybody, today is June 18th, 2024. I have some names for you, some of them I mentioned yesterday, some of them I didn't, but I do have 8 names that I would like to talk about, and I might point out a few more as I move through my watch list. So I'm a day trader and I'm a swing trader. I base my decisions on the 1 day chart, and I base my entries on different time frames, especially anything between the 5 minute and the 1 minute time frame. Lately, I've been swinging more than day trading, even though I did have some day trades last week with Shopify that were pretty good. Anyways, this is not financial advice. Make sure to do your own research when you invest, and if you see or you feel that this is has any utility for you, please give me a like and subscribe to the channel. But anyways, again, make your own decisions, and remember, this is not financial advice. It's just for educational purposes. Anyways, let's talk about Celsius Holdings. I was talking about Celsius. Let me check my notes. I think I did mention Celsius yesterday, and yeah, I did. And I have it with the wrong date, but I did mention Celsius yesterday. And what I was saying was how the MACD and the TSI were starting to move, and also the RSI is already getting out of the overbought area and about to cross the signal line. So I think Celsius had a pretty decent day today, 8%. That was a pretty good fucking day for them. I believe that I would like to wait a little bit more and see how this moves. Sometimes you see a pretty nice candle coming, and then the next day it dumps again. So just be mindful of how this is behaving. But I think we are pretty getting very close to a reversal right here. I'm not saying that this candle is the one that is gonna dictate the reversal. However, the look of these candles suggests a reversal already, but I will be a little bit mindful. So I'm drinking some Arnold Palmer. But I think you can definitely keep an eye on this for the next few days, and maybe make some decisions maybe as early as tomorrow by the end of the day, and get some August or September calls. And but I personally would wait a couple of days just to see how these behave. And then I'm going to show you a couple of stocks that sometimes you see the indicators looking like there is going to be a change of momentum, and then either news or something happens and there is a fake out, and then you get caught in the middle of a bad move. I guess a good example is this. I'm actually short on Chewy. Right now I'm about 25% red. So if this continues tomorrow, obviously I'm gonna sell at a loss. But my thesis here was, okay, we are about to cross the MACD line, the TSI line, and RSI is a little bit overbought. So what I was thinking was, we can continue going down. There's low liquidity in this area, and it's also low liquidity up here. However, you can also take a look at this and argue, well, you didn't see this, no, I don't want this bear flag, but which I obviously did see it. But again, there is more indication to me that the move can continue going down. Now, if we take a look at the weekly chart, now this makes more sense, but I still see this, and I feel uncomfortable when you trade these kind of situations. But if you see this trend line, well, this looks pretty good. But anyways, right now I'm in the middle of this. I think that if we have a red candle or something coming up from something, I guess, meaning if the price, or we have a red day tomorrow, then I might keep my puts. These puts are, I believe, beginning of August, so I have some time. I'm not too worried right now, but if this continues, I'd rather just sell and then deploy capital again once I see um, a situation that would indicate that there's going to be a cool off, and maybe come down to this level of 25, 21. So this doesn't always work out. As you can see right here, it's pretty obvious that you had this signal and MACD line that were about to meet, or the signal line was about to get crossed, and it didn't work out. So it happens. This is not bulletproof, and nothing in trading is bulletproof. But anyways, so whomever was betting on this bull flag obviously had a fantastic day today. And at one point, I think we were up 16%. So it was a pretty good day for Chewy. If you actually had calls right here, well, I'm super happy for you. This is fantastic. It was a great move. So right on for that. Now, another name that I was mentioning, and I think I mentioned this on X. Let's see, because I mentioned this on the 28th on X. So the 28th was back here, and no, back here 30, 20, 28, Wednesday the 28th. And even then I was already thinking, okay, this level right here, 1836, is gonna break and it's gonna be a nice move. But actually what happened is, on this the price action kept going down towards 14, and then we bounced, broke this trend line. It went over the SMA 35, and then it mounted EMA 9 and 20, and now we are over 1836, which was the resistance level right here. So I really like what happened here. I didn't have any positions. I was again waiting too much. The best way of playing this was either entering here last week on Wednesday or Thursday, and then just ride this move, and probably you still have a couple of more days, I believe, considering how the MACD and the TSI are behaving. You have more room on the RSI. So if you have a neutral day or another green day, that would be fantastic. I think this company, CLSK, is doing pretty good, CleanSpark. And so yeah, I'm happy that I actually mentioned this back then, and I'm happy that it's playing out the way I was thinking it was going to play. It did take a little longer than what I thought, but it actually, is a setup, ended up being much better. Anyways, CLSK, that's right there. Another name that I mentioned yesterday, and I did buy puts on this, is CORZ Scientific. So my thesis here is what you obviously can see here, and what I like about this is that it was already overextended. You had this neutral candle here, you can argue, and then you had a green day on low volume, you can see it right here, and then you had a red day yesterday that was 6% red, and today you are 8%, so you went 14% in 2 days. So here, yesterday, Monday, you had this indication, and I was mentioning yesterday, this is not an engulfing candle, but you have to see that the volume is bigger than this candle right here, and you can also see the MACD and the TSI already starting to lose momentum, and obviously the RSI was already crossing, and now it's exactly at 70. So I do think we have more room to keep going down. We're probably gonna meet this or start filling this gap before we hit the SMA 35. But and with this, I'm not saying that we're gonna go all the way down to 6, but I definitely see a lot of room for this to continue going down. Just keep an eye on this name. It had a pretty spectacular run, which also tells you it can actually turn on you and go back up. So I'm gonna be, keeping a close eye on this, and probably take profits either between tomorrow or the day after. It all depends how this behaves tomorrow. So it's not a stock that I'm familiar with. It's a pretty new stock. So I do believe that we definitely have more room to keep going down. Let's take a look at the 1 minute chart right here, and yeah, it was a complete dump from yesterday, and I wish I would have bought yesterday by the end of the day, but I wasn't around. I was doing something else. But yeah, you can totally see the continuation, and then it kind of dump a little bit more and recover by the end of the day. So don't tell me I didn't mention this, because it was pretty obvious to me that it was going to come down at one point. So anyways, another name that I mentioned yesterday for sure, and let me see what other day. I gotta check my notes. I mentioned Dell on the 13th. Yeah. So my thesis on Dell, let's go back to the 13th. So it was on Thursday. And what I was seeing here is, okay, you are sitting on this support level, and you're also bouncing on the SMA 35. So, and you have this beautiful looking MACD and TSI. They are really, the divergence is converging, I guess. And then you're seeing the move towards the signal lines. So I really like that. Are we gonna fill this gap? I don't know. But what I like is that I actually got pulled. CORZ yesterday, and today this is up 5%. At one point it was higher than 5%. I think it was up almost 7% at some point today. But anyways, this has a little bit more room. I definitely see now a progression towards at least 165. We'll see. But if you cut this move, great. And if you are patient enough to keep your position and see how this develop, that is great. I personally try to keep my positions for shorter periods of time, so a few days, or sometimes in some cases weeks. Like, I'm gonna wait on Chewy a little bit, maybe a couple of more days, but anyways. So that worked out. I'm happy with that. Hewlett Packard, I mentioned this, I believe, sometime last week, and I mentioned this when I saw this candle right here. And if we zoom in, this is a Harami bearish candle, and we had I guess a red day yesterday, and today we actually end up having a pretty nice green day, and then things didn't go too well. So it was a nice start of the day for HPE, and then it went down and just kept going down. It had a little bit of a rebound at the end of the day, but it wasn't enough. I don't care about the after hours, but this is a bearish candle for sure. So I mentioned, where are we? I mentioned Hewlett Packard, I think, on the 13th as well. So this was on the same video with Dell. So we have there's what we have, a gravestone, I forgot the name, a gravestone doji, which is very bearish. I think we can continue going down a little bit more. I do have puts on this. They are completely flat. I got them yesterday, so at one point today in the morning they weren't doing too well, and then they completely recover. So I'm pretty confident that this is gonna start turning down a little bit. For how long or for how many days, I don't know. We could consider this 2045 or 2050 level as a support level, and then reassess at that point and see if you're gonna come down to this low liquidity area. But other than that, I think what I'm seeing on Hewlett Packard is pretty nice as far as my position. Another position that I had that I want to mention was Jumia. I mentioned Jumia back, I don't know when, but it played out on June the 13th. I think that was the first time I mentioned it. And we were up here, and it was very similar to the other stocks that I was mentioning. I was seeing this a little bit overextended. My point on this was, well, you have a pretty nasty candle right here, and I did take some puts, I think right here, which was Friday, and I sold today. And you know what happened? Unfortunately, I clicked on the wrong button, which is not the first time that I do this, and I cashed out less than what I was supposed to. I still walked out with, I mean, I was up about 80% or so, but I don't know. I clicked the wrong button and I got more or less money than what I was supposed to. But I'm okay. What I actually care at the end of the day is that the setup that I was getting into made sense, and I made a conscious decision on my entry. And well, I didn't make a very conscious decision on my exit because I clicked the wrong button. But at the end of the day, I still made money and I didn't lose any of my capital. So again, I think Jumia has room to 719. This is a company that I like, but it's being shorted right now, or it's just cooling down. I shouldn't say it's being shorted, but it's cooling down a little bit, and I like that. And you definitely have, based upon the setup on the MACD and the TSI, you definitely have more room to the downside. If you cut this whole move, 16% or almost 17%, super happy for you that we actually got this whole thing right here. You can make fun of me for clicking the wrong button on my way out, but fuck it, I still make money. Another name that I wanted to mention that is related to what I was mentioning on with Celsius and Chewy and how the MACD and the TSI behave is NTNX, Nutranix. So what it's looking here is like, it looks like this is going to be a fake out, so I would stay away from this for a few days and see how this behaves. Now, if you have a nice green candle coming up tomorrow, that would be great. But for now, I'm not gonna touch it. It's something that I'm still looking at. You can tell that there is lower volume or liquidity in this area. So, but another thing I don't like is that this candle has more volume than the prior two candles. So, for now, I'm just gonna keep an eye on it and be, I guess, conscious that this is probably not going to work out on the way of the TSI and the MACD work. What else do I have? OXY. I like this. I bought calls. Was it today or yesterday? Today. Yeah, I bought calls today. I like what I saw. They are flat. They were moving up, and then the stock got, it lost momentum during the day, but it is for the most part flat, but I still like it. My options are early September, so I'm cool with this. I think the way it's moving is pretty decent, and I like what I'm seeing here, the neutrality on the MACD and the TSI, and this is starting to move up. So the only thing that we have to be concerned about is the 61, 69 support resistance level. Other than that, I like this, and then the next resistance level that I would keep an eye on is the SMA 35. Or then actually after that, I'm not too worried about the next move. I would probably sell these calls, even though they are for September, sometime by the end of this week or maybe early next week. We'll see how this behaves. I don't think my entry was a little bit premature. I mean, you can argue you wanna cross this resistance level, but I think I still have a little time. So anyways, last name that I want to address is Palantir. I mentioned Palantir back when we were around here, and this was on May the 23rd. So I had the double thesis. I was like, if this keeps bouncing here and goes up, this is going to be a fantastic move. That's what happened. If this breaks the 2077 level, then you're going to get into this hole and you're going to cry. But what actually happened is you had actually 3 more days of bouncing on this support level, and then you had this green candle. It rejected the SMA 35, the same with these 2 other candles, and then this one candle on a 3.66% went a little bit over the SMA 35, and after that you just took off. There was a low liquidity area here, which I mentioned as well. This was from earnings, and it got completely covered. Now you're up or over the 2550 resistance. Now this is gonna turn into support. We'll see what brings tomorrow. Palantir had a great day today, 3.20. The next resistance level that I see is 2750, and this goes back to, you can argue that it could go actually, but it goes back quite a while to March of 21. So keep an eye on this. I think Palantir as a company has a great future. I don't like the fact that it's so dependent on government contracts, but besides that, I think the Palantir can keep moving. It could get very volatile, as you can see right here. It could be difficult to trade, or especially if you're impatient like myself, but I just love this move. And if you actually got any of this, I'm super happy. I think I got some positions on Palantir somewhere around here, and then I got out, obviously, but that move continued, and it's moving very nicely. Yesterday they had a great day, 6%. Today they had another great day, 3.20%. So if you're on Palantir and making money with it, that's awesome. Okay, everybody, that's all I got. Bye bye.